The wedding ring hit concrete first, then my brother's shoes, red wingtips I'd bought him for his promotion at Marshall Construction. "Claire's with me now," Daniel said, his voice the same one he used when we were kids, and he'd finally win at Monopoly after 3 hours of cheating. And so is the company. I watched my wife's hand in his, the one that used to hold mine during Dad's chemo treatments. "Faith," she'd whisper, her thumb tracing the gold band I'd placed there 12 years ago. I kept my faith. Daniel took everything else. The cops showed up before I could process what everything else meant. Detective Rivera slid a manila folder across the interrogation table. Inside, wire transfers totaling $2.3 million. Destination account, Marshall, Construction, Offshore, 1987. Signature at the bottom, mine. Except it wasn't. The loop on the Aldemian was too perfect. Ivy always had a hitch in my handwriting from a high school table saw accident. Daniel knew that. He'd forged my signature using a contract I signed when we bought Dad Ara's first demolition site. The account number, though, was undeniably real. It was Dad's old routing code, the one he used when he paid his crew in cash to avoid the IRS. 5 years minimum, Rivera said. Unless you can prove you didn't have access to that account. I didn't. But Daniel did. He'd been Dad's accountant for 6 months before Dad fired him for creative bookkeeping. You've trusted family with your life. You've seen money turn blood into water. You've wondered if karma is just a story we tell ourselves to sleep at night. I wondered too. Until I remembered Dad's last words, rasped through morphine and morphine's particular brand of clarity. "When they take it all, son, look where we built the first foundation. The real deeds are in the stone." I wrote it off as dying man poetry. But in the homeless shelter on Hope Street, named for the church that ran it, I stared at a Polaroid of Dad from 1987. He stood in front of the old Marshall demolition site, his hand on a limestone cornerstone. And I saw it. The stone foundation behind him was still there, still standing, still waiting. I started digging on day 17, not metaphorically, with a borrowed shovel at 2 a.m. The site was a parking lot now, but the city's zoning maps don't lie. Marshall Demolition, 1987, Lot 47B. I struck concrete at 3 feet, then rebar, then something else, a lead tube, welded shut, encased in the foundation like a time capsule. The security guard was an old-timer Dad hired in '89. "Marcus," he said, flashlight on my face. "Your brother told everyone you were dead." I showed him the Polaroid. He looked at the tube. "Wait here." He came back with a sledgehammer. We cracked it open. Inside, original land deeds, predating every corporation, signed by the city in 1902. Worthless in 1987, priceless in 2024. The new highway route got leaked a month later. Daniel's properties, all 8 of them bought with embezzled funds, sat right in the eminent domain path. Except one. Hope Street. Dad's deeds showed a survey error from 1902. The highway had to divert or face a lawsuit that would stall the state for years, costing billions. My lawyer, pro bono, because he hated corrupt developers, filed the injunction. Daniel's empire was built on borrowed time. The bank called his loans. All of them. Claire miscarried his child the same week. She told me later at the courthouse, her face hollowed by Xanax and guilt. "I think my body knew what my mind wouldn't et. That baby would have had his eyes. I couldn't do it." Mom called me 6 days after Daniel filed for bankruptcy. Not to console me, to warn me. "Your brother's not the only one who wants what you have," she said. Her voice was whiskey and winter. The deeds were meant for 2 sons. I'd never told her I found them. She'd never told me she knew Dad's plan. "He didn't trust banks," she continued. "He didn't trust accountants. But he trusted me to keep the real ones safe. I gave Daniel the fakes when he asked. I wanted to see which son was worthy of the real ones. You were. He wasn't." The phone clicked. She'd hung up. I stared at the ultrasound photo she'd texted me 5 months earlier, Claire's baby, the one she lost. The date stamp, 2 weeks before Dad died. She'd known about the affair. She'd known about the frame. She'd let it happen. Faith didn't save me. Maternal betrayal did. Daniel came to my penthouse door on Thanksgiving, the building he used to own. The doorman wouldn't let him up. I watched on the security feed, Daniel on his knees in the lobby, clutching a turkey from a soup kitchen, his $3,000 suit stained with rain and shame. "Marcus!" he shouted at the camera, voice cracking like a teenager's. "I'll give you 50%. Claire's left me. I have nothing." I buzzed the intercom. "I have a job opening. Janitor. 3rd shift. You can start by polishing the plaque in the lobby, the one with Dad's name on it, every night, until you remember who built this place." He took it. He's there now. I checked the logs. He's clocked in 47 nights straight. He hasn't missed a shift. I didn't stop with Daniel. That would have been petty. I tracked down every family whose lives he'd ruined with his corporate raids. The Hendersons lost their hardware store in 19. The Chen family, forced to sell their restaurant in 20. I bought their debts from the banks, all of them, $2.3 million exactly. I forgave every penny. One condition, they had to mentor Daniel during his janitor shifts, teach him what it means to rebuild what you never should have broken. Last Tuesday, Mrs. Chen brought him dumplings. He cried. I watched from the security feed. It was the first time I'd seen my brother cry since Dad's funeral. Last night, Mom showed up at the penthouse, no call, no text, just keycard access she'd never surrendered. She placed a mahogany box on the kitchen island. Inside, a second set of deeds, not for Hope Street, for everything. Marshall Construction's true origins, land grants from the Great Depression, signed by a mayor who owed Dad's father a life debt, worth $47 million in 2024. "You think this was about teaching Daniel a lesson?" she said, pouring herself my best bourbon. "This was about teaching you. Your father didn't trust banks. He didn't trust accountants. He didn't even trust me fully. But he trusted the idea that the right son would find these without being told. You did. Daniel never would have. You're the executor now, not just of the company, of the family." She left the box, and a key, to a safety deposit box, number 1902. I opened it this morning. Inside, a letter from Dad dated 2 days before he died. "Marcus, if you're reading this, you've already won. But winning isn't taking his empire. It's deciding what to do with it. I left you a 3rd set of deeds, in the chapel where your mother and I married, the one she thinks I forgot about. You'll know what to do, or you won't. Either way, the foundation is yours." I looked up the chapel. It's in a town I've never heard of. Population, 47. 1 church, 1 foundation. And one question I can't answer yet. Did Mom know about the chapel too? Or is this my first secret that's actually mine?